Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for Mem Nastiti Sakir and all of my beloved friends. First of all, let us thanks to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we can complete this video. Hello everyone, we are from Group 6, which consists of me, Fani Apriani. Next is Maulidiani AM, Asriani, Siti Amina, Rifka Kurnia Saputri, Vivi Nurul Fadila Hasan, and Suci Rahmadani. Okay, our group topic is technical translation. The first material will be explained by myself. Introduction. Technical translation is a part of special translation, institutional translation, politics, trade, finance, and government. Technical translation is potentially non-cultural. Therefore, the benefits of technology are not limited to one language community. In participle, the term must be translated. Institutional translation is cultural unless concerned with international organizations. The translator profession keep pace with the advent of technology, and staff translator in the industry are commonly called open technical translator. Technical translation is distinguished from other forms of translation by terminology. Although terminology usually only makes up about 5 to 10% of the text. Its characteristic: grammatical feature merged with the other variety of languages. The characteristic format is that of a technical report, but also includes introduction, manuals, notice, publicity, which place more emphasis on the form of address and the use of the second person. Next is technical style. Furthermore, unless the non-technical language is living and popularized, it is usually free of original emotion language, connotations, sound effects, and metaphors. If well written, part of a good technical translator's job often consists of reframing badly written language and making metaphors make sense. Okay, that's all material for me. And the next material will be explained by Asriani. The floor is yours.
Alright, thank you moderator. Now I will explain about term. The main difficult technical translation is usually new terminology. The goal of the new standardization has always been to establish a one-to-one relationship between name and the brands. The more likely relationship is to hold as soon as the currency of the brand increases. Coming to more frequent are greater, important, and etc. Alright, that's all. I think I go back to moderator.
Thank you, Asriani. The next material will be explained by Maulidiani AM. The floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Maulidiani AM. I will explain about the varieties of technical styles and technical and descriptive terms. The first is I will explain about varieties of technical styles. Experts will argue strongly in this field as in any other about the names for the tools actually used on the job, at the grassroots, the nitty-gritty. Has in fact usefully distinguished four varieties of technical language. The first is scientific. For example, covers the correlation. The second one is workshop level. For example, compartment refrigerator. The third is everyday use level. For example, congelator, deep freeze. The last is publicity or sales. For example, freezer. Or as a French word. However, a scale like this one is likely to be valid only for one or two terms in a few fields. Based on medical vocabulary, we recommend the following levels. The first is academic. This includes transfer Latin and Greek words associated with academic papers, for example, Legmatia albadolens. The second one is professional, formal terms used by experts, for example, epidemic parotitis, varicella, scarlatina, and tetanus. The last is popular, layman vocabulary, which may include familiar alternative terms. For example, mumps, chickenpox, scarlet fever, stroke, and lockjaw. Next material is technical and descriptive terms. Original SL authors may use descriptive terms for technical object for three reasons. First is the object is new and doesn't have a name yet. The second is descriptive terms are used as a noun alternative to avoid repetition. The third is descriptive terms are used to contrast one another. Technical translators demystify their craft by rejecting descriptive terms where jargon exists. Technical terms are always more precise or below the semantic domain. The descriptive terms are not standard. But what if the original used descriptive terms? Take part of the machining plane. Less machinist coherent can be replaced as a general purpose machine in anticipation of Leur's adoption. In this translation, the semi-technical terms universal replace the descriptive wording of the original. Okay, maybe that's all for me. I will back to the moderator. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Malidiani AM. Next will be explained by Suci Ramadhani. The floor is yours.
Okay, now I'm going to explain about beginning technical translation. That the basic technology is engineering and the basic branch of engineering is mechanical. If you want to become a technical translator, that is where you start. However, you should not specialize at the start, but as in any postgraduate translation course, get as much practice as possible in a range of technologies. In the particular, the ones that are driving the points, which at the present means computer application in the spectrum of commerce, particularly in the theory sector and industry. There are two important things to pay attention to when you come to the early technology translation. First is translated sentence makes sense linguistically. When you translate a text, you have to be able to stand back and understand correctly what is happening in real life, not just or as well as convincing yourself that the sentence you have just translated makes sense linguistically. The second is checks the current validity in lists and dialects. Even though much scientific and technological language and terminology can be translated literally and in never subject content in inspiring number of internationalism and for false friends, you have to check the present validity in the register and dialect. First, usually British or American English of the term you use. Okay, that's all my explanation. Thank you.
Thank you, Suci Ramadhani. The next material will be explained by Siti Aminah. Siti Aminah, the time is yours.
Baik, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Siti Aminah and I will continue the material about translation method. Both text and translation are thing-bound according to Barbara Pollard 1984. The latitude which is the translator enjoys is subject only to the constraints of register and possibly textual cohesion. This statement is questionable since the source language is also the basis of the translation. However, much the translation departs from it, owing to its different natural usage, if it has to be referentially more explicit than the original, in particular in the case of gerunds and verb nouns, where case partners may have to be supplied in the target language text. It is notable that Wills Vocat recommends a thing-bound approach which appears at times to be independent of the source language text. Her examples are post-translation modified by target language synthetic constraints, appropriate explanatory reference. The point is that when a thing or situation is pinned down in a source language text, particularly a well-written one, it becomes precisely described. If a translator tries to set out from the object or situation forgetting the source language verbal details, it is going to be an inaccurate translation. When you approach a technical text, it should be useful to you at this point to refer to. You read it first to understand it and underline difficult words, and then to assess its nature, proportion of persuasion to information, its degree of formality, its intention, attitude to its topic, the possible cultural and professional difference between your readership and the original one. Next, you should give your translation the framework of recognized house style, either the format of a technical report adopted by your client, or if you are translating an article or paper, the house style of the relevant periodical or journal. You have to translate or transfer, or if not, account for everything, every word, every figure, letter, every punctuation mark. You always transfer the name of the publication or periodical. You translate its reference and date and the general heading or superscript using the standard formula of the corresponding English periodical. For others, delete the part or font, reproduce name and qualification, and transfer the place of the author's appointment. The reader, you may want to write to the author, however, you can translate and transfer word in a footnote if the house style permits, if you think the clients or readership will find it particularly useful, particularly if it's not a transparent word. I think that's all. I will return it back to the moderator.
Thank you, Siti Aminah. Next, material will be explained by Vivi Nurul Fadilah Hasan. The time is yours.
Okay, thanks for opportunity. This is Vivi Nurul Fadilah Hasan. I will read the next material about the title. Normally, as a translator, you are entitled to change the title of your text. All titles are either descriptive or allusive in a non-literary text. The descriptive title that essentially names the subject and states its purpose is appropriate. The advantage of the title of a scientific article is that it normally states the subject, but not always the purpose or intention of the process described. Thus, it is more important to know that seismolation is used the purpose of detecting radioactivity in organ or an organism that is consists of minutes flash of light emits from a phosphor crystal measured by a scintillating counter. The title of the SL article is often too long by English standards, and in the title of the extract quotes in the chapter appendix and biology could be omitted. Again, the general word utilization is best slightly shift in translation to application, simply in the ground that utilization is more commonly applied to substance than process, general words are not uncommonly shaped in this way. Misleading adjectives plus noun collection for standardized terms are one of the most common sources of error in technical translation. In non-standardized language, transparent or modified verbs plus object or subject plus verb collocation can be equally misleading, but this can lead to professional information. There is nothing wrong with calling insects as termitine insect, even if you have never heard of termitine insects. It is a descriptive, not a technical term. The last element in the superscription of medical articles consists of the names of the authors and the address of their place of work. All these are usually transferred except in case 1 where a title has recognized common translation equivalent, and number 2 where the name of a city is currently naturalized. Okay, thanks. I will return to moderator.
Thank you, Vivi Nurul Fadila Hasan. Next, and the last material will be explained by Rifka Kurnia Saputri.
Okay, next is going through the text. So in this part, you should then read the article through and underline all words and structures that appear to contain problems, and this might include 1 is unfamiliar apparently. Transparent words with the Greek or Latin morphemes and this extract, for instance, radiolemens, leucine, photomultiplicators, photocathode, radioluminescence have to be checked. Science translator of technical text must not reproduce neologisms unless they admit it with inverted comma and if not in a footnote. Occasionally, a detachable prefix such as anti-pre or post can be raised. Number 2, figures and symbols. These have to be checked for TL equivalence and order. The enumeration of some art graduates can be gathered by the fact that initially they simply copy figures and symbols unthinkingly into their versions. Number 3, words of the type. Representer is resider-wise for the le nom de phénomène au CMMD dan les cadres de semi-empty words which are likely to be reduced to is or in, and so on, and in the TL version. Number 4, verbs such as facilitator, permettre de, and inciter, obliger, impecher, poser, which more often than not require a recasting of the TL sentence. Example, organic samples and sophisticated equipment have to be prepared for this technique, or with the help of this technique, which is a relatively recent various form of metabolism, can be investigated, or using this technique various forms of metabolism can be investigated. Next is point words, such as treatment, processing of results. See, whereas there is an attractive, this content techniques has its attraction, but its application is extremely difficult. Even coincidence, which here is the appropriate technique from English and French, and measuring or measurement rather than measure or moderation. Okay, next is conclusion. So, technical translation is the writing process to match reality further from the page that spills over into diagram, graphs, illustration, photographs, figures, formulae, equation, themes, references, bibliographies, plans, and it's amazing how translators sometimes fail to scan this eagerly.
Thank you, Rifka Kurnia Saputi. Okay, that's all from our material. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.